It was a typical afternoon when Clint Eastwood found himself invited to a live television interview with one of the most controversial liberal TV hosts, Mark Davis. Mark was known for his sharp tongue and relentless approach when it came to politics, often stirring up debates with his bold opinions. Clint, however, wasn't easily intimidated. At 90 years old, Clint had faced the toughest challenges in Hollywood and in life, and he wasn't about to back down now. As Clint walked onto the set, the studio lights blazed down on him, and the audience's anticipation was palpable. Mark Davis, sitting confidently across from him, flashed a smug grin. "Clint, it's an honor to have you on the show," Mark began, his voice laced with sarcasm. "But I have to ask, what do you think about the state of this country? You've been silent for a while now, and people are starting to wonder where you stand." Clint sat back in his chair, his expression calm but his eyes sharp. He wasn't about to let Mark's passive-aggressive approach throw him off. "I don't believe in jumping into every debate just to make headlines. But I do believe in standing up for what's right," Clint replied, his tone steady. The audience was already intrigued, waiting for the fireworks to begin. Mark, sensing an opportunity, leaned forward. "Oh, we know what's right in your world, Clint. It's all about old-school values, isn't it? But things have changed. The world's evolving. Can you really hold on to those outdated beliefs in today's society?" *, where are you watching this interview unfold? Let us know in the comments below, *. Clint's eyes narrowed, and for a moment, the tension in the room was palpable. Mark Davis was playing the game he knew all too well, baiting Clint into a heated response. But Clint, unshaken by the host's provocations, leaned forward and met Mark's gaze. "I've lived a long life, Mark," Clint said, his voice unwavering. "And I've seen a lot of change. But there's something that never changes: respect. Respect for others, respect for values, and respect for the truth. And if that's considered outdated, then maybe it's time we re-evaluated what really matters." The audience was silent, hanging on Clint's every word. Mark, however, wasn't about to let Clint off the hook that easily. "Respect? That's rich coming from someone who's spent their entire career making films that glorify violence," Mark retorted, his voice laced with condescension. "Tell me, Clint, do you think the glorification of violence in Hollywood has helped or hurt society?" The question hung in the air, and Clint could feel the weight of it. He had been asked about his past in interviews before, but something about Mark's tone felt different, less about seeking an honest answer and more about creating a soundbite for his liberal agenda. Clint paused, his face unreadable, before responding. "Violence in films is not about glorifying it. It's about storytelling. The world isn't all sunshine and rainbows. People face conflict, struggle, and darkness. And films reflect that. But that doesn't mean we condone it. It means we're telling stories that are part of the human experience." Do you agree with Clint's perspective on violence in movies? Share your thoughts in the comments below, *. Mark, visibly frustrated by Clint's calm response, couldn't hide his smirk. He had been hoping for an explosive reaction, something he could twist and use against Clint in the media. But Clint was playing it smart, staying calm and composed. Mark decided to go for the jugular. "Clint, you've been on the right side of history for many years, but you've also made some questionable decisions. Do you think it's time for older generations to step aside and let younger, more progressive voices take over?" Mark asked, his tone now openly dismissive. Clint's response was swift and firm. "There's no need for anyone to step aside just because of their age, Mark. Experience matters. We've all earned our place, and that's something I've always respected. We should embrace progress, but that doesn't mean we throw away the lessons of the past." Clint's words hung in the air, and the audience was stunned into silence. Mark's smug expression faltered, and he quickly tried to regain control of the conversation. So you're saying that progress is overrated? That we shouldn't focus on the future, he asked, his voice tinged with disbelief. Clint didn't hesitate. No, I'm saying we should approach the future with the wisdom of the past. Progress isn't about erasing history. It's about learning from it and building something better. What do you think about Clint's views on progress and history? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. The interview had reached a boiling point. Mark was now visibly rattled, and Clint's composed demeanor had only added to his frustration. The TV host tried to switch gears, but Clint's response had already struck a chord with him. You know, Clint, I've always respected your work in Hollywood, Mark said, trying to regain his footing. But maybe you've become too stuck in your ways. Maybe it's time to evolve with the times, don't you think? Clint leaned back in his chair, his eyes never leaving Mark. Evolving with the times doesn't mean abandoning what's right, Mark, Clint said, his voice steady. It means finding a balance. And if I'm wrong for standing up for values that have served me and many others well, then so be it. But I'll stand by them, no matter what. At this point, the audience was silent, hanging on to every word. Clint's words had shifted the mood of the entire interview. Mark could sense he was losing control of the conversation, and that's when he made a mistake. You know, Clint, Mark said, his voice dripping with sarcasm, maybe it's time you retired. Let the new generation take over, before you get lost in your old school ways. It was a comment that would come back to haunt him. Clint, unbothered by the insult, leaned forward and delivered the response that would change everything. I've earned every minute of my career, Mark. Maybe it's time you learn to respect that. The silence in the room was deafening. Mark's face turned bright red as the reality of what had just happened set in. Clint had just shut him down in front of millions of viewers. How do you think Mark should have handled this situation? Let us know in the comments below. The interview was over, but the damage had been done. Mark Davis, the liberal TV host who had thought he could rattle Clint Eastwood, now found himself facing the consequences of his own words. The next day, reports surfaced that Mark had been fired from his hosting position due to his unprofessional behavior during the interview. The network cited his inability to maintain a respectful and productive conversation with his guests as the primary reason for his dismissal. Clint, however, remained calm and composed. He wasn't interested in the drama. His message was clear: stand by your values, no matter the pressure. In a rare statement after the interview, Clint simply said, "I've never been about creating controversy. I've always believed in doing the right thing, no matter how tough it is." And with that, Clint Eastwood had once again shown the world why he was a legend, both on and off the screen. If you found Clint's response inspiring, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a new story like this one. Let me know if you need more stories.